Went to my friend Max's birthday party on Saturday. He rented a cabin outside the city, invited about 20 people. I knew my ex Lisa would be there with her new boyfriend Brad, the same Brad she left me for 6 months ago. Decided I'd be mature about it. Showed up, congratulated the birthday boy, had some drinks, hung out with friends, ignored them both. It was working fine. The house is big, easy to avoid each other. Around 3 in the morning, I needed some air. Went for a walk around the property. Woods, quiet, stars. I'm walking down this path, lost in thought. I hear voices. Turn the corner and see 2 people by a tree, making out. Think, okay, some guests having a romantic moment, already turning to leave. Then I look closer. Guy in the blue hoodie. That's Brad. The girl. That's Emily, Max's girlfriend. They've been together 2 years. I froze, brain trying to process. Brad, my ex's boyfriend, is making out with my friend's girlfriend on my friend's birthday. I stand there for like 10 minutes in the bushes like some creep, no idea what to do. They keep going. Brad finally notices me, shoves Emily away hard. She falls, scrapes her hand on the tree bark. They both stare at me in panic. Brad, dude, this isn't what it looks like. Emily, please don't tell Max. I don't want to ruin his birthday. Something in me snapped. Maybe the alcohol, maybe everything that's been building up, maybe just being tired of all this bullshit. I walk up to Brad. He starts saying something. I punch him in the gut. Not hard, but enough that he doubles over. Grab him by his hoodie with one hand, Emily's arm with the other. Drag them both back to the house. They're both yelling, begging me to let go, saying I'm crazy. Maybe I am. Walk into the house. Music's playing, people are hanging out. I turn off the music. Everyone looks over. Me. Max, your girlfriend was just making out with Brad in the woods. I saw it with my own eyes. Silence. Max looks at Emily. Emily's crying. Brad's trying to claim I'm drunk and making shit up. Lisa, my ex, walks up to Brad. Who were you with out there? Brad says nothing. Emily's sobbing and confesses. Chaos erupts. Max is yelling at Emily. Lisa's yelling at Brad. Brad's trying to blame everyone else. Half the guests are in shock, half are pulling out phones to record. The party falls apart. Emily leaves in an Uber, crying. Brad tries to talk to Lisa. She dumps her beer on him and leaves too. Max is sitting on the porch with friends trying to comfort him. Next day, Lisa texts me. Long message about how she made a mistake, how Brad turned out to be an asshole, wants to talk. Maybe we could try again. I replied, no thanks. Max thanked me for telling him, but said I should have pulled him aside instead of making a public scene. He's right. Could have handled it more tactfully. Now our friend group split. Some think I did the right thing, others think I was too harsh and ruined the party. Max and I are still cool, but his birthday definitely got remembered for the wrong reasons. I got married when I was 24. Not that I was dying to run to the courthouse, but my girlfriend, who had just turned 29, switched into biological clock ticking mode. We'd been together 4 years, and she started issuing ultimatums. I'm almost 30. I'm not getting any younger. Either we get married, or I'm leaving to find someone who won't waste my time. I loved her. We were good together. But I was just finishing grad school, working as a teaching assistant for peanuts, and living in a shitty rental. The idea of starting a family right then seemed like financial suicide. But I didn't want to lose her. I proposed, but with one hard condition. We sat down and had a serious talk. I said, I want kids, but not right now. I need to finish my dissertation, get a real position, and buy us a place to live. I don't want to raise a child in poverty. Can you wait a couple years? She looked me in the eyes and said she understood, that she wasn't in a rush, and that the important thing was being my wife. The wedding went fine, but the wedding night was the first red flag that I, like an idiot, ignored. We're in the hotel room. Things are heading to bed. I reach for a condom. She grabs my hand. No. Me. What do you mean, no? Her. We're married now. No more condoms. I want a real family. I reminded her of our agreement. She threw a fit. You're my husband now. Where are you gonna go? Don't you love me? There was no sex that night. I slept on the couch in a $300 hotel room, listening to her sob in the bedroom. In the morning, I was ready to annul the marriage. But she came out, apologized, said she'd been stressed from the wedding and pressure from relatives, promised she'd wait. I believed her. 3 years passed. They were 3 years of hell for me. I worked like a madman, defended my dissertation, got a job at a major biotech company, took side gigs. I cut corners on everything, wore the same pair of jeans for months while she bought decor for our rental apartment. I got lucky. My grandmother left me an inheritance, an old house in another state. I sold it, added all my savings from those years, and was able to buy a great apartment in a good neighborhood. Took out a mortgage, but the down payment was massive. And entirely from my money, though in marriage it's all communal property. I'm 27, she's 32. I finally have a decent salary, my own place, stability. I felt like I'd kept my promise. Last Friday, I bought a huge bouquet of her favorite lilies. Came home early, happy as an idiot. Walk in, hand her the flowers and say, "Honey, I did it. We're all set. Let's throw out the pills and make a baby." She didn't smile, didn't even take the flowers, just stands there, looks at me with this cold stare and says, "I don't need to throw anything out. I'm already pregnant." I froze, smile sliding off my face. "What do you mean? Did a condom break? But She cuts me off. "It's not your baby, it's Mike's baby." Mike, her best friend from work, who I'd heard about every single day. I just sat down in a chair. She kept going, not even feeling guilty. I couldn't wait forever. I'm 32 years old. You were constantly busy with your career and money. Mike was there. He wanted the same things I did. I wasn't going to risk my chance at being a mother because of your principles. She packed her things and left for his place that same night. Now I'm sitting in an empty 3-bedroom apartment that I bought for us. I put everything into this, all my strength, nerves, and money. The lawyer says that since the apartment was purchased during the marriage, she can claim a share in the divorce, even though she didn't put in a single cent. Plus, in some states, if a child is born during marriage, and we won't be able to divorce quickly, I'm automatically listed as the father, and I'll have to do a DNA test to prove I shouldn't have to pay child support. I just wanted to be responsible, wanted my child to have their own room, and a father who didn't have to count pennies until payday. Instead, I'm left with a mortgage, a broken heart, and hatred for my own naivety. Next story. 5 years ago, my husband had an affair. We'd been married 6 years, we had a 3-year-old son. I found out by accident, saw messages on his phone. I had a choice, divorce or try to save the family. Our son could feel the tension even though we tried not to fight in front of him. I swallowed my pride and decided to give him a second chance. My husband swore he'd ended it, that it would never happen again. I forgave him, though I couldn't forget. 2 months after we reconciled, I found out I was pregnant. My husband was thrilled. He'd always dreamed of having a daughter. We had a girl. I insisted on naming her Emily. It was a name I'd wanted since I was a teenager. He suggested Sophia, but gave in. Said that after everything he'd done, I had the right to choose. The next 3 years were okay. Not perfect. Trust rebuilds slowly. But we worked on the marriage, went to therapy, tried for the kids' sake. 2 months ago, my husband asked me to check his email. He was expecting an important message from a business partner with meeting details, and he was driving. I opened his email on his laptop. I see a message from a name I recognized immediately. That woman, subject line, Sophia's 3rd birthday, Sophia, the name my husband wanted for our daughter. I opened the email. Photos from a kid's birthday party, a little girl blowing out candles on a cake with the number 3. I'm looking at this girl and I see a copy of my husband. His eyes, his nose, his smile, the exact copy of our son at that age. I checked the birth date in the caption under the photo. The girl is 3 years and 2 months old. My Emily is 3 years and 5 months old. I do the math. When I was 2 months pregnant, this woman was already pregnant too. My husband swore he'd ended it, but she was already carrying his child, and he named her Sophia, the name he wanted for our daughter, but I didn't allow. I threw up right there at the computer. My husband came home, saw what I'd found, admitted everything. Turns out the affair didn't end when he promised. It continued for another 2 months. That woman got pregnant. He found out when I was already 5 months along. She gave birth. He's been secretly paying child support for 3 years. Meets with the child once a month under the pretense of business trips. I asked why Sophia. He said he couldn't name her anything else. It was his favorite name. And our daughter is Emily because you insisted and I couldn't refuse after the affair. Meaning every time he looks at our Emily, he thinks it's the wrong name, not his choice. A week later, I found out I was pregnant again. We'd been planning a 3rd child. I was even happy about it. Thought it would help me deal with the shock. At 14 weeks, the fetus stopped developing. Missed miscarriage. I had the procedure. It was a boy. 3 years have passed. We're still together. I don't know why. Probably for the kids, or because I don't know how to live any other way. He's my first and only man. We've been together since we were 20. My husband continues to see Sophia. Once a month he goes to her, pays child support. I know it's the right thing. The girl isn't to blame. I understand that rationally. But every time he goes to see her, I imagine him calling her by the name he wanted for our daughter, how he plays with her, buys her presents, tells her he loves her. I've been living like a robot for 3 years. I cook, clean, drive the kids to school, smile in family photos. At night, I lie awake staring at the ceiling. Our son has asked why Daddy goes somewhere once a month. We don't know what to tell him. For now, we say business trips. Eventually, we'll have to tell him he has a sister. Emily is growing up and looking more and more like me. Sometimes my husband looks at her with this sadness. I know he's thinking about Sophia. I don't know how to keep living. The therapist says I have depression and need medication. I refuse. I'm afraid if I start taking antidepressants, I'll stop feeling anything at all. At least now the pain reminds me I'm alive. Next story. We've been married 10 years. The last 3 years, the relationship was nothing. We didn't fight, but there was no intimacy either. Slept in the same bed, but each in our own world. Sex once a month out of habit. Conversations only about bills and household stuff. I knew we were stuck in a rut, but divorce seemed too complicated. Mortgage, mutual friends, routine. A year and a half ago, my Uncle Robert died. Childless, wealthy, eccentric. I was his favorite nephew, spent every summer at his place as a kid. At the reading of the will, it turned out he left me everything. A house in the suburbs worth $800,000, an investment portfolio at $1.2 million plus cash. After taxes, I ended up with about $1.5 million. I was in shock. My wife was too. And then a miracle happened. My wife suddenly became different. Smiled at me in the mornings, cooked my favorite meals, asked how my day went, suggested watching movies together, initiated sex, real, passionate sex, the kind we hadn't had in years. I was happy, thought the money had lifted the financial stress off us and helped us get back what we had in the beginning. We started talking about travel, renovations, the future. She called me honey again and kissed me before work. I lived in this illusion of happiness for 6 months. Sold Uncle's house, put the money in a joint investment account. Wife's idea. We're a family. Let's keep everything together. Bought a new car. Went to Europe. First vacation in 3 years. Yesterday, she forgot her laptop at home, left for work. I got a notification on my phone. iMessage sync from her laptop. We're on the same Apple family plan. Saw a name Mike with a heart emoji. Don't know any Mike. Opened it. Last message from her, sent an hour ago. 6 more months, baby. The lawyer said if we make it a year after receiving the inheritance and then divorce, the court will definitely award me half as marital property. I can't keep pretending he turns me on. Miss you. Response from Mike. Hang in there, babe. Soon we'll be together and living off that cash. By the way, has he put the house in both your names yet? Her response. Not yet. Working on it. Want him to put everything in joint ownership first, then I'll file. Lawyer says it's safer that way. I scrolled up through the conversation. It started 3 years ago. Mike's her co-worker. They'd been meeting every Wednesday when I worked late. Hundreds of messages about sex, about me, boring, dull, no passion, about a future without me. Found a message dated a week after Uncle died. Her. You won't believe this. His uncle left him everything. We're talking millions. Mike. Seriously? Fuck. Hang on to him. Don't divorce until you get your share. Her. I know. Lawyer said if I file now, I only get half of our apartment. But if the money counts as marital property, 1 year in marriage after receiving it, I can take half of everything. Gonna have to stick it out. The next months of messages. Instructions from Mike on how to act. Be affectionate, initiate sex, convince me to invest the money jointly, suggest transferring ownership to both names. Every time after we had sex, she'd text Mike, did my job, can't do this anymore, I feel sick. I sat with that laptop for 2 hours, read and reread everything, tried to find anything real in the last 6 months, nothing. It was all an act, called my lawyer, emergency meeting. He looked at the messages, said this was evidence of fraud and that I could take action. Today, I transferred all money from the joint account to a new personal account at a different bank. Withdrew all cash. Connected with a financial advisor. Transferred all assets into a trust in my name only. This evening my wife came home smiling. "Hi honey, how was your day?" Kissed me. I handed her a printout of the conversation. "Your day went worse than mine." She went pale. Tried to make excuses. "Account was hacked, it's a joke. I misunderstood." I showed her 50 more pages of printouts. She sat on the couch and cried. I said I'm filing for divorce tomorrow, that I have evidence of fraud in marriage, that she'll get exactly what she deserves. Half of our old apartment, bought before the inheritance. She won't touch uncle's money. She started screaming that I'm obligated to share, that we're married, that it's not fair. I asked, "How's Mike?" She went silent. Today she moved out to a girlfriend's place, meaning Mike's. Tomorrow, meeting with the lawyer. The $1.5 million stays with me. For 6 months, I thought I'd gotten my wife back. Turns out, I just became an ATM with a sex function. Last story. We've been married 4 years. I'm 30, my wife is 28. The relationship is fine, stable, predictable, no major issues. We both work, own our house, routine stuff. Last December was our anniversary. My wife got really into fitness and healthy living. Signed up for yoga, started running in the mornings. I decided to support her interest and got her an Apple Watch. Expensive model with GPS, heart rate monitoring, blood oxygen, sleep tracking, the whole package. She was thrilled, wore it constantly, synced it with her iPhone, installed all the health apps. I got myself the same one. We decided to do challenges, compete on who walks more each day. Through the health app, we set up family sharing, could see each other's stats. It was her idea. Motivation, transparency, support. First month, everything was fine. I could see her activity. Morning runs, yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 hours to 3:30 p.m., evening walks, heart rate, calories, steps, all made sense. In February, I noticed something odd. Was working from home, opened the app to check my stats. Accidentally went into her profile. The heart rate graph showed a sharp spike, from a resting 70 beats per minute to 145. Time, 2:20 p.m. Tuesday. Stayed elevated for about 40 minutes, then gradually declined. I figured it was an intense workout. Yoga can be vigorous. Didn't think much of it. 2 days later, Thursday, opened the app again around 3. Same pattern. Heart rate jumped to 150 at 2:15, held for about 35 minutes, then dropped. I work out, I know what cardio looks like. This wasn't a workout graph. Too sharp a rise, too long maintaining the high heart rate, too gradual a decline. Looked more like sex. Next 3 weeks, I monitored. Every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 on to 3:30 p.m., same exact pattern. Heart rate would spike, hold, drop. I started doubting myself. Was I being paranoid? Maybe it really was some special yoga technique. Then I remembered the GPS. The watch tracks location. Went into Find My, where you can see where family members' devices are. It was Thursday, 2:10 p.m. Opened the map. My wife's watch showed her location. Sunset Inn Motel, 3 blocks from our house. Not the yoga studio across town where she claimed to go. I sat staring at the screen for 5 minutes, then grabbed my keys and drove there. Arrived in 10 minutes. Small roadside motel parking lot in front of the rooms. You pull in, rent a room for a couple hours, nobody asks questions. Saw her car immediately. Silver Honda, know the plates by heart. Parked outside room 12. Next to it was a rental Toyota Camry with an Avis sticker. Opened the app. My wife's heart rate, 148 beats. Time 2:25 p.m. Got out of my car, walked to room 12. Could hear muffled sounds inside, music, laughter, something in Spanish. Knocked. Silence. Then rustling, quick footsteps, whispers. I knock louder. Open up, I know you're in there. After a minute, the door opens. Guy about 25, tan, athletic build, in his boxers, accent when he speaks. Yes, who are you? Behind him on the bed sits my wife, wrapped in a sheet. Hair disheveled, lipstick smeared. We stared at each other for 30 seconds. I asked, "Who is this?" She started crying. The guy looked confused, clearly didn't understand what was happening. I asked him in English, "Did you know she's married?" He looked at her, then at me, shook his head. She said she is single. I left, got in my car, drove home. She came back that evening, sat across from me, started explaining. Said the last year she'd been bored, that we were stuck in a rut. Work, home, TV shows, sleep, that she's almost 30 and felt like life was passing her by. That, in winter out of boredom, she downloaded Tinder, just to look, out of curiosity. Met a guy from Spain, Carlos. He came to the US for 6 months on a work visa, renting an apartment in the next neighborhood over. Young, handsome, passionate. She said with him she felt alive, that it was excitement, adrenaline, forbidden pleasure, that with me everything was safe and predictable, but she wanted risk and emotion. I listened and didn't recognize the person in front of me. 4 years together, and apparently I'm boring and safe. Asked about the yoga. She admitted she never went. Bought the membership for show, went to the studio a couple times to take photos and workout clothes for Instagram. Rest of the time, motel with Carlos. I asked, did it ever occur to you to just talk to me? Tell me you were bored? We could have traveled, tried new things, gone on dates. Why go straight to cheating? She said she was afraid of hurting me, that I'm a good person, and she didn't want to disrupt our stability. So she decided to get her thrills on the side. Logic on the level of, I love you, so I'm cheating behind your back. Now we're living separately, filed for divorce. Carlos went back to Spain a week after the incident. His visa expired. My wife tried to contact him. He blocked her. Apparently the romance ended when it came out that she'd lied about being single. The smartwatch became the key evidence in the divorce proceedings. My lawyer submitted all the stats, geolocation, timestamps, heart rate, a 6-month map of infidelity, twice a week, like clockwork. She asked for a second chance, said it was a mistake, that Carlos meant nothing, that she realized she loves me. I said no, don't want to be the safe option until she gets bored again. If any of these hit close to home, or you have thoughts on how these situations were handled, drop a comment. Hit the like button if you want episode 3, and subscribe so you don't miss it. Remember, you can't build a future with someone who's been lying about the present. Trust your gut, protect yourself, and don't let anyone make you the backup plan. Welcome by the campfire.